Hey guys, welcome back to TNT.
Take two.
Yeah. In case you forgot, Melissa Taylor, Rob Townsley. We haven't been on for a while. Reason being, the market has been insane. It's just been so incredibly busy this summer. There's a few reasons for that.
Yeah, so we can go through a few of them, but one's, a lot of people are trying to get out of the city. They want to get further north. Cottage market's definitely picked up too. That's another thing that we're seeing a lot of.
Actually, on that note, I just sold a property out in Halliburton and was contacted by Toronto Life. They're doing an article on it, and they wanted to interview in reference to the people who are moving from the GTA and spreading out. And I get a lot of requests for that. They're looking for more land, space.
Everything, yeah. So we're seeing, like, especially low inventory in the area that we're working, right? That's been one of the big issues. Low inventory has been a big issue for years. It'll probably be an issue for years to come too. But more people working at home. They don't have to drive into the office anymore. So now they can work from more remote location, detached homes, townhomes, trying to get out of the condo market. So it's definitely had a big impact, and we're seeing a spring market in August, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And there's no sign really of it slowing down. And I know earlier, before we went off air, we were predicting that it was going to turn, right? We expected it to turn, and now I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, CMHC guidelines came out. We thought we were going to get a turn, and it didn't seem to really do anything, even though the two insurers are still working, with the old guidelines, which has been great. We've had rate drops throughout the whole summer, and it continues to keep coming down. I expect it to keep coming down in the fall. So, yeah, it's just definitely bringing out more buyers, more people moving up, more people, like I said, they're looking for the detached. That seems to be where things are going, right?
Yeah, well, I've also had a lot of the first-time home buyers looking in the condo market, of all things too, but even in that market, and I can actually track this because I do have some of those buyers, and we were okay, just not finding the right property into June and July, and then all of a sudden, in like the second week of July, depending on what area you're in, because I know Georgina was well before that.
Right.
But then suddenly you're into multiples. I mean, even that Halliburton property into multiples. Like everywhere you see holding offers, so it's really difficult for those first-time buyers at the lower bracket to get in at this point. So I've got them begging, like, when is it going to change?
Right. And the question is, when is it going to change? Is it going to change? So I'll ask you that question. Do you think it's going to change?
Yeah, and when you asked me that a couple months ago, I would have said definitely. I still feel, and I know that we differ on this, but I still do feel that there is going to be a shift, and I think we're going to see that. Now, it might be the typical winter market, like late fall winter market that we see shifting, but I do still feel that there's hope for those buyers to get in.
To get a shift, yeah. And I still think that we need inventory, so you're right. We're both two different ends on this one, but without the inventory, I know they've been talking a lot about, like, with the COVID and what's going to happen, people not being able to make mortgage payments. I know the CERB's coming to an end pretty soon, which is going to have a big impact on a lot of people. Employment rate's still over 10%. So there's a lot of things in there that could trickle into the market, that could bring in a lot of inventory. Maybe not, we would like to see the inventory come on the market, but it could definitely happen, and that might put some ease.
And I'm also seeing, and it's almost creating a larger divide between people. And I think and we've talked about this before, but I think January 2021, when people have to start using 2020 as their income in order to qualify, I think that's where we're going to start to see the divide. Now, we have some clients that have been working overtime during COVID, and they're going to be in great stead, I believe, to get into those properties. But there are people who have suffered greatly income loss because of that, and I think that's where we're going to start to see that shift.
Well, we've seen the whole, I think I've read the articles now where the middle class is now, if anything, that divide is really starting to widen, where it's probably accelerated itself by 20 years just because of the COVID. So now you're going to see more rich and more poor and nothing in the middle.
100%. I do believe that, 100%. And the issue, and another issue, well, not the issue, but another issue, boy, that was really smart, but I lost it. It was a really great issue. Is the second wave. Is we haven't seen that. And I know so many people think that's a fallacy, that's not even going to happen, and this is all hogwash. But I mean, if you're looking out at the world and things that are changing, and schools do go in, and that sort of thing. I mean, I'm not even talking about the validity. So please, I'm not talking about the validity of COVID or not. There are people on both sides of that spectrum, but it's just the actual fact of how the government is handling it. And if we start to see that spread, I think we're going to be shut down again. I really do believe that.
Oh, I believe too. We'll be shut down again, and that could create another monster in front of us that we don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
Right? So again, that comes back to the inventory might actually come out. Can the government afford to do another CERB round again? Mm-hmm. You know, it's...
and eventually, someone's got to start paying for all of this.
Yep.
You know, and what's going to happen? We've never been through something like this, so it really is difficult. And I'm sure the majority of people, I for sure, thought that by the time we got to this point, we would be done this would all be sorted out. And it isn't. I mean, just look at the school board and what's happening there.
Well, and nobody expected the market to do what it did either.
Not at all.
Right? We were expecting a downturn, and the exact opposite ended up happening. And now we're looking back at, okay, what happened in June, July to create the market like this? Obviously, spring got delayed and pushed into the summer. And like I said, the only thing now that we can really think of is people are trying to get out of the condo market out of Toronto. They do work from home, so now they can afford cheaper properties further north. Which is really now starting not even becoming even cheap anymore because it's becoming expensive to live out here. So,
and it's not just here. I have friends in New York, and the exact same thing. They bought a cottage property on the lake, and that's where they're going to work from. You know, it's really affected so much. Like not just the market, but how people are living their lives, right? So that's interesting.
It's a change, yeah. We'll have to see how long that change lasts for and if it continues. And that's I think the fall's going to tell us that.
I think we're still climbing that hill, right? Like we're still at that point in the roller coaster, and we'll see what happens.
And we'll go from there. Yeah.
But besides that, we're going to keep our eye on it. We're going to talk to you. We're going to try to get out on location and try and meet some of our businesses. So hopefully next week we'll be able to do that for you too.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. TNT out.